the things which we have read, mostly we are talking about the univariate analysis. Means there are one variable, and for this variable we have calculated different types of measures of central tendency, and also some tests which we have applied, like independent t-test, or even some non-parametric. So here basically in correlation analysis we will read about the relationship between the two variable. Means basically we will study here two or more variable. When you have two or more variable, then how you will go for the analysis. So in this scenario we will first we will discuss about the correlation analysis. So the content which we will cover here, definition and concept of correlation, and what are the different type of correlations, and the methods of studying correlation. So these are the three topics which we cover here. So first we have here written some definitions given by some statisticians. So the first definition is correlation is an analysis of covariation between two or more variables. This definition is given by A.M. Tuttle. So basically in the correlation analysis, as I'm saying, we are studying two relationship between two or more variables at a time. So different statisticians has written different, and that meaning of the definition is same, but they are written in a different way. Like another is written, correlation analysis attempt to determine the degree of relationship between the variables. So degree of relations means, and basically in correlation analysis, the we are estimating R. R is basically set correlation coefficient. I will come on that. What is the correlation coefficient? So that the value of this R is basically known as this degree of relationship. So actually it does not give you like in the when we are calculating measure of central tendency, so we are getting some mean, but here in the correlation, basically when we are talking about the two variables are correlated, then how much it is correlated is does not tell in that sense. It tells only in that sense whether this relationship is strong or weak, or between them, means moderate relationship. So in the correlation analysis, we are not giving the just the means how much they are associated or how much they are related. We are not talking about in that sense. So so this is the some definition. I will send the slide. You will read this. So I am not going on that detail. So in the general sense, when we are talking about the correlation, we said that when the two variables are said to be correlated, when the change in the value of one variable causes corresponding changes in the value of the other variable, then we say that these variables are correlated. For example, we have taken here the height and weight of a children. So we know that when the height of a children is increased, their weight is also increased. So it means the two variables are correlated, and due to changes in the height of the children, their weight is being changes. Similarly, we have taken another example, consumption of alcohol or tobacco use and risk of having cancer or any disease. So if the person is consuming more alcohol, so they have more risk or more chances of being ill. Similarly, another example we have written here, the price of a commodity and amount of demand. So it's a general uh, theory that when a price of a commodity is decreased, the amount of demand is increased. So these are by this way, these variables are related to each other. So due to changes in one, the other variable is automatically is being changes. That's why we are saying that these variables are correlated to each other. The correlation analysis measures the degree of relationship between the variable under consideration. And these degree of relationship, basically we are saying, are denoting it by R. So different books, some book written small r, some book written capital R. So don't confuse on that. So these degree of relationship, basically we are measuring through some techniques like Pearson correlation or rank correlation. So we will discuss on that. Now, when we are going to see the relationship between the variable, so basically we are dividing this analyzing relationship in 3 steps. The first step is determine whether a relationship between the variable is exist, and if there is relationship, then measure it. And the second is testing whether these relationship which we have measured, whether it is statistically significant or not. And the third is establishing the cause and effect relationship, if any. So the establishing the cause and effect relationship is not a very easy task. So basically for establishing the cause and effect relationship, we have required the evidence like experimental evidence, or you have some theoretical evidence, so that we can say that yes, these two variable have means in these two variable have cause and effect relationship. So basically when we're talking about the causation means cause and effect relationship. So like if we say, if the two variable are vary in such a way that movement in one are accompanied by the movement in other, then we are saying that these two variable are having the cause and effect relationship, or we can say that we call it cause and effect relationship. Like when say that for example, suppose we are taking the salt intake and SBP. So if it is a proved theory, when we increase the salt intake in our food, or we are consuming more salt, so our BP is going to increase. So it means because of, so it's this relationship is existing everywhere. It does not that for some people or for some cases the salt intake will increase the SBP, and for other it will not. So cause and effect relationship means this relationship should be exist everywhere. Whenever we are going to do this trial, means giving the salt intake, so every time this relationship should be exist. The correlation denotes the interdependency among the variables for correlating two phenomena. It is essential that the two phenomena should have cause and effect relationship, and if such relationship does not exist, then two phenomena cannot be correlated. Fourth point is important. Causation always imply the correlation, but correlation does not necessarily it implies causation. Like we have taken example the salt intake and SBP. So we are saying that if these two variables are having the cause and effect relationship, so these should also be correlated. But if the two variables are correlated, then we cannot say that this is also having the cause and effect relationship. So there are many reasons for this. I will uh, give some examples, because the correlation may exist either due to random chance or maybe due to the third factors which are going to influence that. So because of that, it may be possible the relationship between the two variables may occur. So because of this, we have or we can take carefully variables for or to whom we are going to uh, see this correlation or cause and effect relationship. So these are the some other reasons due to which the correlation may occur. The first reason is correlation may occur due to the pure chance, especially in a small sample. Like here we have given example income and weight. Suppose if you have collected some data, and in that data you find that the income of people are increasing, and the weight, their weight is also we found at increasing. So when we will plot these in the graph paper, or when we uh, go for the analyzing or estimating the R values, so we will find that there is a positive relationship because both are increasing. The income is increasing and weight is also increasing. But in fact, and in fact, or mostly these relationships are coming in a small sample. But when you will take a large sample, then you will find that this relationship is not coming. So this is because of the due to pure chance. So it may be possible that there is some other factors. Suppose if you are saying that income is increasing, so it may be possible they are doing the some work, and in because of this work they are not able to do physical work, physical exercise, or they are consuming more food. So it may be possible that some other factors may influence to increase their weight. But a income is not directly related to the weight. The second reason may be the both the correlated variable may be influenced by one or more other variable. Like here we have written example. Like suppose if you want to measure the production of rice and tea in 1 acre land, and you find that the production of these two are looking in increasing in trend. So it may be possible that the third factor, it may be due to using the fertilizer, it may be due to good rain. So means the third factors may be here also influencing this correlation. Or the third reason is both the variable may be mutually influencing each other, so that neither can be designated as the cause and other the effect. Like earlier we have said that when the price of a commodity is increased, the demand is decreased. But it may be also possible the price of a commodity is increased, but demand is also increased. So it may be because that the population of that area is increased, or population of a country is increased. Because of that, demand is also increased. So these are the, in the similar fashion you can think about the in the medical terminology, what are the factors which may be affect either due to pure chance, or the third factors may influence the relationship. So these are the some other reasons and due to which correlation may occur between the variables. Now come on the type of correlation. So basically the type of correlation is divided on the basis of the degree of correlation, or on the basis of the number of variables, or on the basis of linearity. So on the basis of degree of correlations, we are dividing it in two parts, that is positive or negative correlation. And on the basis of number of variables, it is a simple correlation. And then multiple correlation or partial correlation, you can rearrange that, no issue. And on the basis of linearity, it is linear correlation and non-linear, or sometimes called curvilinear correlation. So we will discuss one by one. So the first is a positive or negative correlation. So the correlation is said to be positive correlation if the two variables are changing with the same direction. So here we have taken example. Suppose if x is your height and y is weight. So these are two variable x and y. So if x is increasing and then y is also increasing, then we are saying, means both these two variables are in increasing trend. Then we are saying that these variables are positively correlated. Or if both are in decreasing direction, means x is decreasing and y is also decreasing, then we are saying that these variables are, these correlation between these two variables are positively correlated. And in the negative, it is just the one is increasing and another is decreasing. So the correlation is said to be negative correlated when the one variable is changing in the opposite direction. Means like if suppose if the person is consuming more alcohol and their driving ability will reduce, means if they increase the alcohol consumption, their driving ability will be reduced. So or simply we can understand this the two variables, if x is increasing, y is decreasing, and if x is decreasing, y is increasing. The same thing we have given here in the graph, positive correlation and negative correlation. So you can see that if the two variables are, means here the y is increasing and x is also increasing. Here this is the negative, x is increasing but y is decreasing. And here is the, it is neither increasing nor decreasing, it's showing a very scattered thing. So this is the picture of no correlation. And indicated by sign plus or minus. Basically, we are recognizing this, whether our correlation is positive or negative. Basically, we are recognizing from their plus or minus sign. So I will show you how this plus and minus sign will come. Now come on simple correlation. Simple correlation, basically when we are studying only the two variable at a time, then we are saying a simple correlation. Like the correlation between height and weight and height. So it may be possible that some other factors may influence their weight, like age, exercise time, uh, type and quantity of food consumed. So these variables may also play an important role, but we are not considering these in increasing the weight. So we are studying only the two variables, only here the weight and height. So if we are looking these type of relations, so this is called simple correlation. Now in the multiple correlations, when we are considering three or more variable at a time and looking relationship between these, then it is termed as multiple correlation. For example, the relationship between lung cancer with a smoker and alcoholic person together is a multiple correlation, or relationship between weight, age and height together will be a multiple correlation. So here we are studying three variable at a time. So in the multiple correlation, basically three or more variable we are studying simultaneously. Now in the partial correlation, basically we are measuring the relationship between the two variable, and other variable we are treating as a controlling for the effect of one or more other variable. Like in the previous example, here we have also written example. Suppose you might want to see if there is a correlation between amount of food eaten and blood pressure while controlling for weight or exercise, amount of the exercise. So we are studying only about the here two variable. One is the food eaten and another is the blood pressure, while the other variables like weight and exercise, we are controlling this. So we will see this in basically in when we will read about the regression. So how we are going to estimate that. Now come on the linear correlation. So correlation is said to be linear when amount of change in one variable tend to bear a constant ratio to the amount of change in another variable. So it means when the changes in one variable occur, the changes in other variable with a constant ratio, so it means we will get a straight line, means the linear relationship. So the graph of these variable have a linear relationship in the form of a straight line. So you can see here the example. Suppose we have two variable x and y, and if we plot these two variables, we will get a straight line. The y-axis and x-axis, when we plot this, we will get a straight line like this. So this is a linear relationship. And another non-linear relationship. So basically when we will plot this, we will get this curvilinear relationship or non-linear relationship. So if this type of relationship will come, so we can say that this is a non-linear correlation. Now come on the method of correlation. So basically we have two methods. One is the graphical method and another is the algebraic method. In the graphical method, basically we are using scattered plot. We have, sorry, we have also discussed scattered plot when we have discussed about the graphs in SPSS. So basically through the scatter diagram, we are studying the relationship between the two variables. And the in algebraic methods, it's divide. There's three methods, basically Karl-Pearson correlation coefficient and Spearman rank correlation coefficient and concurrent deviation method. So we will discuss only about the Karl-Pearson and Spearman, and the third one is not is very rarely used. So let us start with the scatter diagram. So scatter diagram is a graph of observed plotted point where each point represents the value of x and y as a coordinates. So it portrays the relationship between the two variables graphically. So how basically this come? I will give you this example. So here we have taken this three scattered plot. One for figure 1 is for Uttar Pradesh, figure 2 for Delhi, and figure 3 for Mumbai. So basically what we have plotted here through this scatter plot, basically we have, or you can say a survey is done, and in this survey the participant were some patients and the nurses, and the question asked them recommendation for government hospital in some scores. So the patient have given some score whether they are recommending government hospital for treatment or not, and similarly the nurses has given their scores whether they are recommending government hospital or not. So when we see these for Uttar Pradesh, so we found that the these plotted points are very scattered. Very scattered means when if you try to draw a see the relationship, you will not find a good relationship. Similarly, in the second case, means you can see that most of the peoples are recommending, like nurses and the patients both are recommending, means most of they are recommending in this area. Means they are also, this nurses also going to recommend the government hospital, and the patients are also recommending the government hospital. But in UP, you can say most of the patients are recommending the lower side, low score. And similarly, when you will draw a line, you will find that the scatteredness of these points are more. But here, when you draw a line, you will find that most of these points are coming around the line. Similarly, in here in the third figure, when you will draw a line, you will find that most of the points are coming around the line. So you can see that here their views are coming in a similar direction, and here their views are very scattered. The views or their recommendations are both nurses and patient are scattered. But here it is some says some close to, but in the Mumbai it seems more closer to each other. So take a practical examples, like numerical examples. Here we have taken a gestational age and birth weight of 20 newborn babies. So gestation period in weeks of 20 mothers and birth weight are recorded. And when we plot these two variables, means birth weight and their gestation period, so we find that as the gestation week is increasing, this birth weight is also increasing. And you can see here, most of these points, means the weights corresponding to this gestation period, are coming around this line. So basically, when we going to plot a scattered, we'll get this dotted points. You can also plot these numbers also. So basically, this shows a kind of relationship. So which type of relationship is this? So we have discussed, if both are increasing, then it is a positive relationship. So this is the graphical presentation of positive correlations. So basically, when we got a single straight line and no points is either below this straight line or above the straight line, then this is a perfectly correlation or perfectly correlated of these two variables. So perfect correlation means, in that case, we will get the value of this R about which we are talking. So we will get R is equal to 1, means there is a perfect relationship and all the points are coming on this straight line. Now the another diagram may come like this. The points are scattered around the line. So in this case, the value of R will come like here we have written 0.80 plus 0.80. So it means the relationship between these two variables, or they are very strong relationship. And when it is more scattered, then this R will come a small values. Similarly, in the negative case, if we get like this figure, so we can say that this is all the points are coming on this line. So this is -1. So this is perfect negative correlation. This is moderate or some, actually every book are written the different way. So basically you can say the strong relationship. I will show you a figure, the cutoff point when we said a weak, when we said a strong or moderate. And the weak correlation, here we can say that the scatteredness is more as compared to this. So this will be a weak negative correlation. And this is the no correlations. Now come on Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation. So Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation is denoted by R, and the coefficient of correlation R is measured the degree of linear relationship between the two variables, say X and Y, and it is defined as the covariates between the both variable under study divided by the product of their standard deviation. So basically this is the formula. So R is equal to covariance of this X and Y divided by the standard deviation of X and the standard deviation of Y. So this is the formula for estimating this covariance, this Karl Pearson correlation of coefficient, this R. And this covariance of X and Y is basically summation of the product of these two divided by number of observation minus the product of the mean of these two variables X and Y. So this is the mathematical, basically come on the assumption. This is important when we will go for Karl Pearson correlation coefficient, and when we will go for correlation rank correlation coefficient. So basically, this Karl Pearson correlation coefficient is a parametric method, you can say. And as you know, when any test, or when we say that it is a parametric method, it means the assumptions of there are some assumptions that should be followed when we are going to apply the any parametric method. So the assumptions to estimate the correlation Pearson correlation coefficient are: both the variable must be continuous, means both variable x and y, it should be a metric in metric scale, means both have a quantitative variables, and the both should be normally distributed. Like the previous example we have taken is weight and height. So both are a metric variable. Height you can measure, and weight you can also measure, and both are the, so we can check the normality of these two, whether this is normally distributed or not. So we have also read the normal means we have learned also through SPSS in previous class how to measure the normality of a variable. So the sample must have been selected randomly from the general population. So the sample which we have taken, or the variable which we have taken from the sample, so that should be come from the general population, and the observation are independent of one another. These two should be independent to each other. The relationship between the two variables is linear, and the variance is constant over the length of the data. So these assumptions should be met when we are going to apply Pearson correlation coefficient. Now see the another example. Here we have taken the 30 individual, we have taken the weight and their SBP. And when we are going through this, so the SPSS software, so first we check the normality of these two variables, means weight and for SBP, through this KS test or Sapir-Whorf test. So when the p values, basically when it is less than 50, then we are preferring Sapir-Whorf test. So if the p value of is greater than 0.05, then we are saying that this is a normally distributed. So this thing already Prabhakar sir has discussed in detail, so I'm not going on that. So this is the mathematical, or you can say manual calculation method. So this thing also not required for you, because nowadays there are many softwares which calculates these values. So basically just leave that part. Ultimately our goal is to get through this Karl Pearson coefficient method, we get this R values. So this come here, the 0.69. So we can say that these two variables which we are talking about, weight and SBP, are correlated to each other. So this is a positive correlation. Here we can say that there is no any symbol, so we can consider it as a positive correlation. Now this is the SPSS output which we got when we run the correlation for these two variables. So here we can say that the Pearson correlation coefficient. So value of this Pearson correlation coefficient for weight with SBP is coming 0.692. and this is their p-value 0.001, and this is the number of observation. So either you can take weight or SBP or SBP versus weight. So we'll get the same thing here. So basically the significance means p-value is tell you the relationship between these two variables are statistically significant. So here you can see that there are two star, and here written that correlation is significant at the 0.01 level in truth telt. The one thumb rule which we are using, if you have given this R values and we do not have any information about their p values and their confidence interval, then how you will say that whether these R values are statistically significant or not? So for this we are using this formula 2 by root n, and if this means given R value is greater than by this, like here for this example our n is 20. So when we estimated 2 by root 20, you will get 0.44 this 7. So it means our given R value is greater than this values. So in any case, when the value of R is given and you want to see whether these are statistically significant or not, just calculate 2 by root n, and when if this 2 by root n is less than this, then you can say that this R is statistically significant. Now interpretation of R, as I have already told, if this is basically the value of R is varies between -1 to +1. When R is positive +1 means we are saying that this is a perfect positive correlation. When R is negative, then it is perfect negative correlation. And if R is equal to 0 means there is no correlation between the variables. So degree of correlation is expressed by the value of the coefficient. Now these are some the other points. The hypothesis test of the correlation. So the correlation coefficient can be used to test whether there is a linear relationship between the two variables or not. So basically in the SPSS, it's actually give directly. Otherwise, you can also, by using t statistics, you can estimate by using this formula. So R is the basically Pearson correlation coefficient, and n is your number of observation. R is here also a Pearson correlation coefficient. So just for above example, you can put n is 20. So 20 minus 2 is 18, and R is 0.69. So you will, when you put this, you will get this t value. And if these t value, so basically there are in every statistics book you can see there is a t table. So basically in t table you can see for this degree of freedom means 20 minus 2 is 18. For the 18 degree of freedom, what is the value of tabulated t? So we get this. So from actually these tables, when you look the table, you will get this p values from there. So by looking this, you can say that this the correlation coefficient means whether there are sufficient evidence, means whether there is a positive relationship exists between these two or not. So basically if this p value which is coming from the table, if it is 0.0 less than 0.05, then we can say that this is a positive linear relationship. between the variable. So this is the estimating the confidence interval. Formula is Z is equal to 1 by 2 log E, and R is the Pearson correlation coefficient. So basically the formula of correlation coefficient is Z, this Z plus minus 1.96 into this standard error of Z, that is 1 by root n minus 3. So here you can see that this value of Z plus minus 1.96 into this standard error. So you can get their confidence interval if you want to estimate. Now come on the Spearman rank correlation. So basically this is a non-parametric method when our data is not normally distributed, or we have given some ranking data. So in that case we can use this Spearman rank correlation coefficient formula, and the formula is R is equal to 1 minus 6 summation D square divided by n under bracket n square minus 1. So here D square is basically difference of rank or difference of this. So just see the example. This is the just formula. So here we have taken when the rank are given. Suppose we have this variable, that is rank in the two subject, economics and statistics. So we have already rank is given. So in that case, just simply estimate the difference of the rank. So here you can see that this is the difference of rank, then calculated square of this rank difference, and simply put in this formula. You can get this, the value of R, means your Spearman rank correlation coefficient. So here the interpretation is the result indicate that there is a low positive correlation because the value of R is here 0.2. Similarly, if the rank are not given, in that case you have to give the rank. Like here, these are the two variable X and Y. So basically how we are giving the rank, the highest value we are assigning the rank 1. Then this lowest to this will be rank 2. Then next lowest will be rank 3. And when the two values are the equal, so the average of their position, we are not talking about the values on that position. We are saying that their average of their position we are taking and putting in place of both, in both places we are putting that average rank to their places. So by this way we are giving the rank. So here the other formula is same. So once we have given the rank of these two, estimate this rank difference, then their square, and put in the formula, you will get this R values. The interpretation is also the similar kind. There is no difference on that. So interpretation, basically the value of rank correlation coefficient is also varies from -1 to +1, and if R is +1 means there is a complete agreement in the order of rank, and the rank are in the same direction. If R is negative, complement agreement in order of the rank, and the rank in the opposite direction. If R is 0 means there is a no correlation. Now this is the last points. Coefficient of determination. Basically the coefficient of the convenient way of interpreting the value of correlation coefficient is to use the square of coefficient of correlation. which is called coefficient of determination. Means the value which we have, like R, we have calculated either through this Spearman-Rank correlation or a Pearson correlation coefficient. So when we are taking the square of their R value, we are getting coefficient of determination. And what actually gives this coefficient of determination? This gives how much variation is explained in the dependent variable by the independent variable. Like here we have taken example, if R is 0.9, when we have taken R square, we get the R square value is 0.81. So this means that 81% of the variation independent variable is explained by the independent variable. So basically this is the interpretation of this coefficient of determination. Means it says that 81% variation is explained by this independent variable in the dependent variable. The maximum value of R square is also 1, because it is possible to explain all of the variation by Y, but it is not possible to explain more than all of it. So there is also a formula, coefficient of determination. So this is equal to explained variation divided by the total variation. So here simply we have taken another example. Suppose if we have this 2R and the value of these two, one is 0.6 and another is 0.3. So here, as I told, the R square is coefficient of determination. So we cannot say that this first R is twice stronger than this second R. When we take this R square, here we can see that this is 0.36 and this is 0.09. So it means in the first R, the 36% variation is explained by the independent variable in the dependent variable, while in the second case, only the 9% variation is explained by independent variable to the dependent variable. So this is the last slide, and you can see here when we can say the perfect correlation when the value of R is either +1 or -1. Very strong if it is 0.9, +0.9 to +0.9 or -0.9, or 0.7 to 0.8, either in positive or negative. So it is a strong or high correlated. And moderate, you can say the 0.4 to this 6 or up to 7 you can consider. Similarly in negative case, and rest you can consider poor or weak correlation. So this is all about the correlation coefficient. Now if you have any query,